Welcome to the 30 Goals Challenge for Educators. My name is Shelly Terrell, and today's goal is to encourage creativity in the classroom. Scott Adams said, "Creativity is allowing yourself to make mistakes. Art is knowing which ones to keep." It's funny how Scott Adams said this because Sir Ken Robinson, in his famous TED Talk, Schools Kill Creativity, talks about allowing students in schools to be able to feel comfortable making mistakes. According to Sir Ken Robinson, we don't get original ideas unless we're willing to experiment and we're willing to not be afraid of making mistakes. Therefore, one part of creativity is providing the type of environment in our classrooms where students don't feel punished if that they have to follow a certain method or a certain path, and if they don't have that exact right answer, that they're going to be punished for it. In life, we realize many different answers and many different ways of solving problems, and the more ideas and things that we brainstorm and we try and the different ways that we explore, then we find that there are very creative ways to solve different problems. If everybody tried the same thing, then just imagine what kind of a world we would have. So definitely one part of our short-term goal is to create a lesson where our students are allowed to make mistakes and that we fully have them explore different options. Now, it could be something like to explore 3 different options, figure out which one was the least successful, which one was the most successful. We don't always have to grade everything. We can give participation points instead. We can encourage in other different ways. But if our lesson will allow for this type of search and creativity, then the students will be able to really learn a valuable lesson. They'll be able to learn the process of being able to come up with creative, original ideas. It's great if they would be allowed to work together in teams or groups or pairs, because often just one of us may come up with an original idea, but it's usually a process of bouncing things off each other. That's why I chose to do the 30 goals this way, because what I think about is just one way of looking at a situation. But then I bounce ideas off with you, and your ideas just help me explore different paths and see different viewpoints and come up with a whole array of different ways of thinking about something. And it's just a really beautiful, wonderful process. Creativity is often tied to art. Back in the Renaissance, they really felt that art was really essential, and music, that all of these ways made a balanced individual. If you had the physical, if you had the spiritual, if you had the art, if you had the music, and you were encouraged to learn different things and explore your creativity in different outlets. And I fear that this is something that becomes less and less and less in schools. But this is what makes a well-rounded individual. And when I recently visited the UK, I was really astounded by the education of many of my friends when I was touring Oxford, and I've toured Cambridge before. And most of my friends in the UK have grown up learning types of music, and they play instruments, and they know different types of reading material, and some of them paint, and some of them do poetry, and they're just so creative. And on top of all of that, they just excel in their fields as educators. And it's just so exciting, because I remember when I was in school, this wasn't encouraged. You were encouraged to do maybe sport, and this was a big thing in the US, and it still is, to be very athletic. But the arts programs, the drama programs, all of these programs that are so important to students are being cut. And it's very sad, because there are so many students out there who would probably explore creating murals or painting or doing things like this, or playing music. Things that they're really passionate about might keep them off the streets, might keep them from joining gangs, might keep them from getting really angry and frustrated from all of their difficult situations in their home life and being able to have an outlet through art. So, for the long term goal, I want you to figure out ways that you can encourage or help support the arts in your school. Maybe it's by developing a club, maybe it's by developing an art event. But let's try to figure out a way that we can help promote the arts in our school.